Hi, Miss Betty. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here today. Thanks for talking to me.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited about Glamorous. And look, you're so young, yet I know this has been such a journey to get the show to happen, and now it's like days away. How are you feeling?
I'm so excited. I thought I was going to be so terrified and so nervous and just anxious, but truly, I could not feel more proud of this show, and I'm super pumped about it. I cannot wait to see all kinds of memes and quotes people pull from it. And I feel like it came at the perfect time. We've been trying to make this show for like 4 or 5 years now, and every year I feel like it got closer and better to what it needed to be. And the final outcome is just something I'm so proud of. Like, I think my whole life I will point to this show and say, I did that. We did that.
That's right. And listen, definitely memeable. I'm lucky I got to see a couple episodes in advance, which is so fun. But you said the right time and the right journey. Can we talk about Kim Cattrall? I mean, not a bad way to get this show going. Kim, of course, plays kind of your boss. You get to play opposite her. I mean, that's got to be pretty amazing.
Mind-blowing, dream come true. I mean, I have just used her as such a form of inspiration for so long in my career as an actor, because she always managed to balance like camp with heart so well in Sex and the City. And so I always was just like dreaming of her being in the show. And when I found out she actually was going to be in it, I fell out of my seat and had a gay heart attack, because I just could not believe that I was going to be working with her. And she's perfect for Madolyn. I think anyone who's a fan of Sex and the City is going to watch this show and get everything that they've ever wanted out of her, because she has so many amazing, powerful moments, some great quotes, some great one-liners, and I think it's perfect.
I love also, you use they, them pronouns. I love what the show has the potential to do, being on Netflix, showing this story with your character. I know, you're not your exact character in the series, but I think it's really amazing. And there's so much opportunity for conversations, for people to learn. I mean, was that also, an appealing part of kind of putting this story out into the universe?
Oh yeah. I mean, this was the first time I had ever read a script where I felt like I was being seen and represented authentically in a full range like this. I've been so used to sort of getting these opportunities where I say, a couple funny one-liners or like a couple comic relief moments, but it's very rare that you get to see me do that and also go home and have a real life and have some heart and have some personal, journeys. And I think that when I read this script, I just remember thinking I would be such a fan of this to watch it. And so I just have to be a part of it. And I cannot believe that I got to be a part of it. The whole time we were filming, I mean, the producers, the actors, everyone, we couldn't believe we were getting to make this show, because it feels so unique and special and authentic. And I can't believe it. And I think that it found its time, especially like the original pilot was so different, and even 4 to 5 years ago, culturally, things were so different on what could be on TV and what people were ready for. And so I think the fact that it got to incubate for so long was perfect, because then we got to present a really special thing, I think.
Yeah, look, my wise grandmother always says everything happens for a reason. So this is the time. I love that. Thinking about, I ask this question often, but it's so important with, what we do at GLAAD is so instrumental. And, we know how important it is for people to see themselves represented, but also for allies to see people, because we know so much of what people see in film and TV really shapes the narrative of what's in their hearts and their minds. What would it have been like for you? I mean, you're still such a young person, but, flash forward even to, 10 years ago, if you would have seen a show like Glamorous, what would that have meant for you?
Oh my gosh, it would have meant so much to me. I mean, my only references for queer people growing up in Texas was on the internet.
Right.
And for me, the thing that was the most impactful in my life was seeing queer people happy and seeing queer people succeeding in their personal goals. And I didn't really get to see that anywhere else at the time. And so I think about a show like Glamorous, and I think about the fact that the characters in the show never face prejudice from the straight world. We don't get homophobia, transphobia, any sort of pushback. Our queerness is seen as a superpower, and it's seen as a license to kill. And so that's super important to me, because when I was a kid, I would have loved to have seen, oh, being queer isn't a tragic thing that I now have to deal with. It's an incredible thing that I get to express. And So I'm really, really proud of that part of the show, and I'm proud of the fact that there's so much intersectionality within the show where I feel like people in the queer community can watch it and feel represented in any way, and they can see the way that we all interact together, and that even if we have any sort of conflicts between us as characters, there's like a baseline of family that we all have, and that's super special and healing for me to see. And so I think that it hopefully will be that for other queer people who watch it.
It definitely is. I was watching it and I was like, wow, I was like, I've never seen something like this. But it's also, what I love is it's so great, but it's also so much fun. And we at GLAAD are saying queer joy is so important, and this is definitely that. So thank you for that. And going back to Kim, listen, she has been so wonderful around and supporting LGBTQ people. She's done a lot with GLAAD over the years. Did you find that you know, in between takes, whatever, got to kind of talk to each other and just kind of, you know, maybe you even opened up her eyes to some parts of, you know, the community and all of that?
Well, it was really special to me that she signed on to a show like this, because I think she's so important to so many people. And I think sometimes in the queer community, we see her as obviously a gay icon, but she also reaches out to a lot of other people, a lot of like women, just fans of her in general. And so for her to sign on to a show like this really feels like a great move of allyship, because I feel like this show is so queer all around. And so to have somebody sort of at the helm of it who carries a lot of power is super, super special. And it just meant so much to me to see her on there. So I can't imagine how special it would be for other people to see it. And, you know, I think about, I mean, look at the reaction to the trailer, all of the fans of her that have been commenting about the show. I can't wait for them to see her portrayal of Madolyn, because it is truly just an amazing display of a powerful woman who's an ally to queer people. And the fun side of that is that she also gets to contribute even more fun, iconic moments, because she's given us so many of those in the past. And I think it's cool that she was like, let's keep the good vibes going.
All while wearing fabulous outfits. Once again, she would make Samantha Jones proud. Anyway, I love that your character also gets to have a lot of very handsome fellas in their realm. What was it like? I mean, we're talking Zane Phillips, who of course we all know from Fire Island, several others, and I haven't seen the end of it, so I don't know what happened.
I made my way through them, huh?
But what was that like?
Oh, it was so cool. I mean, I love this cast so much, and everybody, what was really amazing about this cast is that everybody felt this sense of excitement and ownership over their character in the way that I do for Marco, where all of us recognize that this show is so unique and the amount of queer characters it has, and each queer character gets to be a fully fledged person. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And so it was just so amazing. It felt like summer camp with everyone. And it was really special to me that Marco got to be the center of not just a workplace storyline and success, but also a romantic, you know, love triangle, the way that we've always seen it. Because for me, as a kid and discovering myself, I didn't feel like I got to see myself as attractive very often. Even in the last couple of years, it's been very hard to find representation where not only somebody gets to be their authentic self, they also get to be seen as attractive and valuable and special. And those things all exist in real life, but they just don't really happen on screen. And so it was really special to me that I got to be a part of that story. And everybody that is on the show is just so incredible at what they do that it just felt like we were all honoring that sort of specialness that the show has. And particularly Graham and Michael, who play my love interests, Ben and Parker, are just so amazing, and I could not have had a better experience with them. I fell in love with them while we were filming, and so I know everyone else will fall in love with them. It's a really sweet, sweet story.
Of course, I love that, and I can't wait to see how it all happens. Before I let you go, you know, you mentioned Texas. Texas continues to be one of the trickiest states for LGBTQ people, LGBTQ kids, especially trans youth, non-binary youth. What do you want to say out there to anyone that might be in Texas having a hard time? Because, you know, at GLAAD, we're doing everything we can to really just keep those conversations going, spotlight what's happening, encourage people to get involved. So yeah, I would love for you to say something to your fellow Texans.
Oh my God. I mean, my heart just like breaks and goes out to the queer people still in Texas. I got out of Texas when I was 14, and I knew that was something that I needed to do, but I had so many people that stayed because a lot of Texas is beautiful. A lot of the culture is amazing. A lot of the people are amazing. It's just unfortunately shrouded by this sort of queer pushback. And so, you know, it's interesting. I think the queer people in Texas are doing a great job of making their voices heard and speaking up for themselves. I think what's really important and something that I really would encourage is for the allies in Texas to be even more vocal than we have to be, because I find that when you have a conversation with somebody who opposes queer people, your first step is just having to convince them that you're valid and that you're allowed to exist. And so the next step of having to then convince them to be open-minded is just so far away sometimes. And so I feel like when I think about my straight friends back in Texas, I'm like, the impact you could have by starting these conversations amongst your peers who might take you a little more seriously without the same hurdles you have to jump over. I really encourage that because I find the most change to come from people that you love around you, and the most people that have changed their opinion of queer people that I've been able to have an impact on are usually people that knew me before they knew I was queer. And they realize that this thing they've been demonizing is actually something they love and isn't scary. And so I have nothing but support and love for people who are in any of the sort of southern states facing opposition right now. I hold the South really special to me in some ways. And so I hope that we're able to find a way to make it a much safer place and really encourage the allies to be louder than the queer people have to be, because we're also trying to navigate our everyday lives, and to constantly have to validate that is very exhausting.
100%. Well, very well said. Thank you so much. And just a reminder, you can't ban queer joy. That's right. But anyway, everyone, just a reminder, Glamorous. All episodes available June 22nd on Netflix. It's so much fun. You will love it. Miss Benny, so nice to meet you. Congrats. I'm so happy for you. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you in person very soon.